In this demonstration, we'll take you through the power of CluedIn and OpenAI, where we can instantly turn data policies into automation in natural language. Let's use the example of employee data. Here we have 100 employees uploaded and mapped into the CluedIn platform. And we can see there's some kind of inconsistency and real sensitive and PII data here as well. Just as some examples, we've got the account numbers of the IBANs or bank accounts just in open text. We've also got inconsistencies in our countries. We've got inconsistencies in our genders. We have employees that are missing first names, but we have their full name. We have inconsistencies in dates, where sometimes it's in different date formats across different time zones. We've also got inconsistencies in our phone numbers. And of course, we've got some pretty sensitive data here with our passports as well. Now, of course, these things are easier said than done to fix. Let's head over to the rules. And we can see that we've created or inherited a lot of our data policies. In this case, they might have been inherited from our native integration into Microsoft Purview. For example, we have some policies here that talk about access to data, that access to data is only available by the HR and leadership team. This has been inherited from that Microsoft Purview integration. But these are all very top-down policies, where from a higher level, we're wanting to enforce these policies on our data. Now, of course, the challenge has always been to enforce the actual policies, not anymore. Let's take a couple of examples of these top-down policies. So let's take something, for example, like our employees must have a first and last name. Here, we have a policy set up that's looking for all types of data for employees. In this case, we have some actions set up. We're going to use our OpenAI integration and prompt OpenAI with a simple natural language of extract the first name out of the full name and return just the first name. We're going to return that into the employee.firstname field. As you can probably imagine, for the last name, we're going to extract the last name out of the full name. Now, this would be typically quite tricky to do because we're not always guaranteed that the full name is going to have the first name and the last name in any particular order. Sometimes there's commas in it, sometimes there's extra space, sometimes there's middle names. Our integration with OpenAI makes this simple, quick, and efficient to be able to achieve. Let's look at one more. We have a policy that says all our employee phone numbers must be in an RFC 3966 standard. Okay, well, the first thing to ask would be, what's an RFC 3966 standard? But with our OpenAI integration, there's no need to do this. Simply prompt the engine to convert the employee's phone number into an RFC 3966 standard, and it will do all the heavy lifting. Now, with all of these different rules enabled, so we can see that we've got lots and lots of different policies here, such as masking data, such as scrambling and anonymizing data, sharing policies, records must be in a company hierarchy. Let's go ahead and take a simple record. Let's take Angelina. Now, of course, she's got all the common issues here that we're trying to solve from a data policy perspective. Let's go ahead and let's just tell the engine to process her record through all of the data policies that we've just written in natural language. There's been no code, there's been no advanced functions, there's been no need to pass this back to any IT teams. Let's refresh the record. And you can see that all of these policies have been applied. So for example, now I've standardized my date format. My RFC 396 standard has been automatically applied. My passports have been scrambled. My employee bank accounts have been partially masked. Let's go ahead and run this against all records. You can see here, if I just refresh my screen for a second, that Angelina's record is now in a completely compliant format, but the rest of these records are still having their issues. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run to reprocess all the records and all the employees in our system. So while that's working, let's go off and solve another challenge within our data. You can see in our employee.gender that there's different ways to represent this data. And in this case, we don't have a top-down policy to be able to standardize and fix this. No worries. Let's head over to our cleaning application and let's create a new cleaning project. In this case, we're going to standardize the genders. We can pick what type of data we're wanting to work with. In this case, it's as simple as choosing the type of data that is an employee. Then all we need to pick is the field that we're actually wanting to fix as well. In this case, it was the employee.gender. Let's create a cleaning application and generate the results. This will give my data stewards a friendly sandbox to be able to play with the data, analyze where the issues are, have suggestions on how to fix these data quality issues so we never see them again. We can head back to our search results. Let's just do that here. And you can see how the system is processing all of these records, fixing all the phone numbers, fixing and standardizing all the dates. There's still a little bit more work to go on this. So we can head back to our cleaning application. It's now finished, and we can go off and clean our data. In this case, it's loaded up the genders. We can ask the engine to break down all of the possible values there are for gender. And you can see it's this female that's a little bit of an issue. Now, of course, we can go in line and we can fix this here. So for example, we can standardize that here, or we can ask the engine to go off and make suggestions for us. As you can see, as I toggle through the different techniques, they'll all come with ways to suggest how to fix and normalize this data. In this case, it's found the issue, and it's now going to standardize both of these into the same gender. I'm going to close my application, and I'm going to process the data. You can see here that the engine is asking us to enable rules auto-generation. When I click confirm, this is not only going to process those fixes into the platform, but at the end of the processing, it's going to automate new data policies on how to handle those transformations in an automated way. So with my processing nearly fixed and finished, let's head over to our rules, and you can see that it's generated these rules automatically for me. As I click on these rules are completely explainable and understandable. Where we ever see a gender that equals F, we know that we're going to set that same value as female. So now I have a combination of top-down and bottom-up policies, all automated with the integration between CluedIn and OpenAI.